Monthly meeting. So would you please all join me in the flag salute? Lorraine, if you please, so kind of lead us.
With pleasure. Ladies salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alejandrina, would you be so kind as to read off the roll call?
Yes. Major Pro Tem Liz Silva,
Present.
Council Member Scott Funk,
Present.
Council Member Lorraine Worthy,
Present.
Council Member Maria Orozco,
I believe she's on her way. She's just gonna be a little tardy.
and Major Jose Rios.
Here, present. All right, moving on, we have item 2, resolution 2025-82. And Liz, would you be so kind as to read that whole thing, please?
I will do. Item number 2 tonight, consider approval of and present excuse me, I'll start over. Item number 2 tonight, consider approval of and present resolution number 2025-82, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gonzales in honor and recognition of Public Works Director, City Engineer Patrick M. Dobbins for his dedicated service to the city and residents of Gonzales.
All righty. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved. Patrick, would you meet me at the podium up there?
So if we didn't approve it, can we keep them?
Hey, that's true. Good question. Mike is not here.
You should ask again tonight.
That's right. Exactly.
It's Michael. Sure.
Whereas in January of 2019, Patrick M. Dobbins was hired as Public Works Director, City Engineer after working for the city as contract city manager for 4 years through Harris and Associates. And whereas Patrick, in tenure, he led numerous capital projects like the reconstruction of Alta Street, New City Well 7, rehabilitation of the community pool, the 38 million industrial wastewater system set for completion in spring of 2027, and most recently, the design and construction of the 30 million Dennis and Janice Caprara Community Center Complex, which is set to be completed next month. And whereas Patrick provided guidance and leadership not only to his public works team, but also supported the growth and development of local youth interested in engineering careers by instituting an intern program. He also worked with the Gonzales Youth Council on multiple projects, including the Teen Innovation Center, safe routes to schools, and pedestrian safety. And whereas Patrick's work ethic, commitment, and dedication earned him the respect of his colleagues, the Gonzales community and staff, as well as his local and statewide peers. He is compassionate and is always willing to support his colleagues and residents of Gonzales. And whereas Patrick successfully stepped in and led the city as acting city manager from August through October 2022, while an interim city manager was on maternity leave. And whereas Patrick has served on the board of the Monterey County Chamber of the American Public Works Association for the last 25 years, including as the president in 2002 and 2023. He also represented the city on the TAMSI's Technical Advisory Committee, as well as the South County Public Works Managers Group. Now, therefore, be it hereby resolved that the City Council of the City of Gonzales takes great pride and pleasure in drawing special attention to the accomplishments of Patrick M. Dobbins and the incredible history he has created with the city. And through this resolution does hereby honor, comment, and recognize Patrick M. Dobbins for his exemplary service to the residents of Gonzales and wishes him well as he moves on new endeavors. Passed and adopted by the City Council of the City of Gonzales at regular meeting held on the 17th day of November of 2025.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Patrick, it's a pleasure to present this to you.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, you hide your age very, very well. Yes, I am blind,
Yes,
but I never realized we were kind of brothers in age.
that's correct.
Ah, I hope I look as good. You're gonna leave a very good looking course for whenever that is, 100 years from now. But it's a good question that Scott had, and I'm sorry that he didn't ask it before we passed the resolution. Well, we won't hold that against him. Thank you again, sir.
Absolutely,
Appreciate it. Any last ones?
It's been terrific working for the city of Gonzales. I enjoyed it as city engineer and came over and one of the comments is it's definitely been a team with the public works staff, the contracting community, the consultants that I bring on. Definitely had some very major projects to deliver and definitely interesting as a full service city, water, sewer, roads, buildings, parks, things of that nature. So I really enjoyed it. But it's time to go start another endeavor. So thanks enough. I really appreciate the resolution, Mayor Rios, City Council. So thanks an awful lot.
Thank you.
Patrick, yeah.
All right, next item on the agenda is a PG&E presentation from the Central Coast Community Relations Representative, Ms. Jasmine Venegas. Ms. Venegas, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff. How are you today? I hope you're well. It's good to be here. As the mayor mentioned, my name is Jasmine Venegas. I'm the government relations representative at PG&E, and your contact and resource at the company, please think of me as a resource and reach out whenever you have any questions or items to escalate. It is my job to keep you informed and to help connect you to leadership and personnel at the company, whether it's operations, billing, constituent issues, anything and everything. Just think of me as a point of contact to help you get the answers you need and the issues resolved should they come up. I'm here today to introduce myself to you in person. I've been in this role for just over a year. And it is my first time coming out to a council meeting. I'm sorry it took me this long, but I'm happy to be here. And so I just want to take the opportunity to say hello so that you can match a face to a name. You've gotten my emails by now. Hopefully they don't feel like spam or they're not overwhelming, but I just try to keep you informed and just know that my contact information is always at the bottom of my signature. So call, text, email, you can reach out whenever you need. I am accompanied today by my colleague, Adrienne Thordson Weathers, to give you an update. She's in the distribution engineering department, and we want to give you an update on a capacity upgrade project that is currently underway, and that will bring a lot of capacity improvements to the city of Gonzales. So I have just a small presentation. So I'll go through it and then I'll open it up for questions, and we're happy to answer anything that you have for us. So like I said, that's my name, my title, and also Adrienne. She's a supervisor for electric distribution planning. We can go on to the next slide. Okay. So PG&E is making improvements to the local grid, and these improvements will enable additional housing, economic growth, enhanced electric system capacity. The specific project I'm talking about is a reconductoring project along Highway 101. This capacity job will bring a 21 kilovolt kV feeder from Soledad to the outskirts of the city of Gonzales near Gloria Road. And we are expecting this to be in service by December of 2027. This is a conservative timeline. And that will be pending some foreseen dependencies, including permitting and land acquisitions from both the state and federal government. And we will have a better estimate in February of next year, but we want to give you a conservative timeline so that we can at least help you understand ballpark when to expect this project to be ready. Next slide. So once completed, we will be able to serve the cooler project that is currently underway. as well as other loads that are looking to connect to the grid. I know that there are other capacity projects at the city level, but then also industrial and agricultural customers are wanting to connect their load projects. And so we hope to be able to provide the load capacity that is needed in the near future. And it is my understanding that the Rianda Cooler plant requires 9 megawatts, and we hope to fulfill that with this and then some. Since the city of Gonzales is a 12 kV voltage, is fed by a 12 kV circuit, the new feeder is going to be stepped down and then be able to feed electric current to the city that way. Adrian's the subject matter expert. She can speak more to that in just a second. I'll turn it over to her. But with the current scope proposed, we are bringing about 10 to 20 megawatts to and near the city of Gonzales. That's really the end of the update. If you move on to the next slide, I'll open it up for questions. But maybe before questions, I will turn it over to Adrian, who should be on the call. And Adrian, you can help me
Hi,
add
Jasmine.
and fill in any gaps that I may have missed. So I'll turn it over to you to say anything that you'd like to add.
Yeah, hi, city council members, and hi, Patrick and Mayor Rios. I know we've been working closely together. I'm sad to hear Patrick's moving on, but I'm sure we'll have another contact we'll be working with. But Jasmine, I think you summed it up pretty well. Like you said, we'll be bringing 10 to 20 megawatts to this area. It really just depends where on the circuit you're connecting is why we say 10 to 20. So if you're connecting down the line, we have to do a little bit extra work to, serve you that total 20 or whatever it may be. So it just depends exactly where you are. But this is a huge project. We're working on estimating right now, which is pretty much the civil engineering part, getting all the permits. So it's going to be huge, and it's going to be a huge win for the city of Gonzales once it's finally finished. It's fully funded and moving along. So I don't know if there's any other questions.
Yep, we'll open it up to questions from council.
Okay, I'll start on my right side here. Lorraine, Liz?
I don't have anything right now, but thank you for the presentation. Much appreciated.
To my left, Ms. Orozco, I believe you're here now, right?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. I don't have anything. I'm just glad to see that things are going to be moving forward and quickly, hopefully. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation or the update. And actually, I mean, I understand conservative, but a non-conservative date, what do we, how much sooner could we be talking about in respect to, and I am thinking about, the Rianda Cooler, et cetera, that are all pending that infrastructure improvement. How much sooner would a non-conservative date be?
Optimistic.
Yeah, optimistic. There you go. Yeah.
If we could be optimistic, Adrian, what do you think?
That's really hard to say because we have some long lead time materials that are on order, which take about a year, and then of course Caltrans. But like Jasmine mentioned, I think we'll know a little bit more come February as far as maybe there's permits you guys are able to help us move forward, or some land acquisitions, maybe any hurdles we need help with. That's where we'll need your guys' help moving this project along. So it's hard to say how soon at this point, to be honest.
Well, that said, I'm sure, and speaking on behalf of the mayor, but and the council, but do keep us informed on phone calls we can make or people we can talk to. Clearly, things you have to lead time you have to order that we can't do anything about, but persons, legislative officials, et cetera, we can talk to assist with helping permits, et cetera, or land acquisition.
Definitely will do. We have a quarterly call, I believe it is. It used to be with Patrick and others. So when we've reached those calls, or if not before then, we can let you know if there's any hurdles.
Thanks.
I don't want to play devil's advocate because I know who still pays my paycheck, but I have a couple of questions to ask you.
Perfect.
I apologize. As far as the Caltrans permits, If you're having issues, please let me know. I sit on the Transportation Agency for Monterey County, TAMC. And it just so happens that most of the time I'm sitting right next to the Caltrans director from San Luis Obispo. He or she regularly makes the meeting. So I've got a direct line, if you will, to that permitting process. I'm sure I can help it move along, and I'm sure that the rest of the TAMC board would help with that. So when you're ready for those permits, let us know. We'll do what we can to get those permits expedited. Secondly, on the build from Soledad to here, I have concerns in that, as you know, like I said, I did work for PG&E. My concerns are this, is that you're feeding the circuit from Soledad to Gonzales. That means we have about 8 miles of exposure. When you have tractor drivers, drunk drivers, all sorts of stupid people or huge birds that fly into that line, I'm concerned of the frequency of outages that could occur on that line. And I believe, if I'm understanding this correctly, you're going to be doing an underbuild. So you're going to have transmission on top and then the 21 on the bottom. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, well, since PG&E, I was going to say we, I'm no longer PG&E. Since PG&E no longer does the annual insulation washing, we have had incidents along this valley floor where the insulators get so corroded and so dirty that they end up burning the 60 and it drops into the 21, which automatically boosts up the 21 and we blow out some meters. I'm hoping and praying that that doesn't happen with this particular project, but I won't hold my breath because it's historical. I mean, we're a farming valley. We do a lot of disking. And so there's a little bit of wind that creates that dust on those insulators. So when this design is being put together, I hope that is kept in mind. And the other question I had for you, long-term, what this community needs is really a new substation. The one on 7th and Alta was too small when I left the company. That was 9 years ago. That's before even Mann Packing was built. Mann Packing has been purchased by another vendor, and they're already talking about bringing another, what did they tell me? 350 horsepower vacuum tubes to their facility. They called me just because I used to be their rep, and I told them, good luck. You don't have the capacity. The PG&E does not have the capacity, so I'm not sure how they're going to be able to serve that load, but just heads up, it is coming. They're asking for 350 horsepower vacuum tubes, and that's one of many other projects that will be coming into this community. And so long-term, I'm hoping that more energy is focused on that substation. And I know we have a very, very willing seller. They're more than willing to sell us 10 acres. As far as I'm concerned, I'd tell them, you want the substation? Acreage has got to be free. And I'm not kidding when I say that, because he is planning on building a cogen system that's going to use all the calls from all the companies, and they're going to create natural gas with the gas turbines and then create electricity. They're also talking about a pretty large solar project. There's no way this community could use that much energy, so it obviously has to be fed back into the grid. I know there's interconnection issues with the ISO and everything else are really, really a long lead time. But I hope that the powers to be are keeping all of that in mind, because that load will be coming. Right now, as you know, we're in the process of rebuilding or building up our wastewater treatment plant. Once that's done, we will not be holding any of those customers up. And we're going to have to, and I hate to say this, but we're going to have to throw that back on PG&E's lap and say, okay, they want to grow. What are you going to do to help them grow? Okay? So just be aware that those issues are coming up, and we won't be hesitant to just toss it back to PG&E because we'll have the sewer capacity. So it won't be on us.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the heads up, and I absolutely welcome the responsibility. We will continue advocating and pushing internally to meet the demands. And yeah, you can count on that. And if we can continue updating the city through our quarterly calls, that'll be something that we will continue collaborating on as well, including taking you up on help with those permits as they come up. So thank you. Thank you. All points very well taken. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing those up.
All righty. Thank you.
Can I add?
Yes, Adrian.
So you touched on reliability. Thank you for bringing that up. I'll double check with the planner to make sure we're crossing the T's and dotting the I's. I do know we have some flashover issues and wires into distribution lines in scenarios like this. I'll see if there's anything additional we can do. But right now it meets all of our current standards from what I understand. But like I said, I'll take that back and make sure you're nice and reliable. Secondly, you talked about future capacity. So this job will bring a large amount of capacity for what your current needs are and beyond. So once this is built, you should have no problem bringing those 350 horsepower pumps online. Maybe a little work depending exactly where you are. And I believe for a new substation, you're either speaking to Chewaller or as we've been talking about over on Johnson Ranch, their proposal for a substation. I'm in works with them, going through the application process and whatnot to get that moving forward. But as far as Chewaller substation, that's in the works right now. We're working on a huge transmission cutover project, cutting over the 60 kV system to 115 kV, and that is quite a large process, 10 plus years to cut over all large amount of substations in the area. So once we do that, you'll really be set for a long, long time.
Well, from God's ears and the rest of the engineering department, I appreciate that update.
You're very welcome.
All right.
You're hearing it from the horse's mouth.
Okay.
So thank you so much, Adrian.
you.
I really appreciate the support. And I would, just as a last comment before I pass it on to the next item, I would be remiss if I didn't also take a moment to congratulate Patrick on his next steps in the career. Wish you all the best. It's been a pleasure working with you. And I look forward to continuing to work with Carmen and other city staff to continue our partnership. And thank you again.
Thank you, and have a safe trip home.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
And I'd like to,
Absolutely.
back to Jasmine, I just want to make the council aware that Jasmine was key in expediting the PG&E power, permanent power at the community center. So just wanted to make sure the council was aware that Jasmine was our contact at PG&E to expedite that. That's it.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, and I actually had the opportunity to tour the facility earlier today, so that's very exciting. It's beautiful, and I look forward to the ribbon cutting. And yes, of course, we were thrilled to be a small but obviously critical part of bringing that to the residents. So congratulations on that as well. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
count on us to help on similar things in the future.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
All righty, moving on, public comments. Any member of the public may address the council for a period not to exceed 2 minutes on any item not on the agenda. The council will listen to all communications, but will take no action and make no comment. The podium is available now, Mr. Martinez.
Henry Martinez, 112 10th Street. 2 years ago, I was arrested for filming my attack by a police officer of Gonzales, California. The officer, the sergeant come to my house, asked me if I was can hand him over the video of the assault and the assault on my family. I told the officer, the sergeant, that I was going to give it to my attorney and hand it over to him, and they could request it from my attorney. I also told them that I was going to give it to the independent auditor if they provided one. I'll give it to them. I was not going to give it to an officer. So the officers in question went to the DA and said I was hindering an investigation. I was not hindering an investigation when I offered to give it to them if they brought the independent auditor. Not the officers, but independent auditor. So now I'm in court. On the way to jail, my son, plus my son said last time that we lawyered up. On the way to the jail, I was telling the officer, Perez, that we lawyered up and we were expecting them to do something like this. And they knew we had a lawyer, and they continue going after the families and after us, charging us, knowing that we had a lawyer. Here's my arm. This is pictures from the doctors. 2 bruises from a flashlight. Mag light are considered dangerous weapon according to the company. So he should be charged with a felony or 2 and legal notices. All 17 people last year who got tickets And anybody who got tickets from the drone, he's the operator who struck me. He's supposed to be fired, arrested, and all these charges should be dropped.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
I don't.
You don't see anybody? All righty. Marisol, do we have anyone via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Thank you. Alejandrina, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay, I'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back to council for the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of items 5 through 16. If you've all had an opportunity to review those, I would like to entertain and have a motion to either approve or disapprove, or if the items that you want to pull, please indicate so.
Mr. Mayor, I have 2 items I'd like to pull for further clarification.
Okay,
Items number 6 and item number 12.
okay, 6 and 12, all right. Anyone else? Ms. Worthy, Ms. Orozco?
No.
All good? All
Well,
right,
I want number 6 also.
okay, all right, so go ahead and ask your question on number 6.
Okay, with regards to item number 6, those are the warrants on page 14. Check number 52984, payable to the SPCA of Monterey County in the amount of $6,370 for September 2025. According to the report dated October 20th, 2025, that we received in our agenda last month, there were 8 animals transported by the city to the SPCA in September of this year, which would equal just shy of $800 per animal. So my question is, why is it so high? And if it includes animals that were not transported by the city, then is it possible to get that detail?
I'll be happy to answer that. So I'm looking at the September bill from the SPCA dated September 1st through September 30th, 2025. We had a total of 20 cats and 6 dogs for a total of 26 animals transported at $245 an animal. From one location, there was 12 kittens taken up by a resident at the cost of $250 per kitten. So typically the bill is about, $3,000 that particular month because of that issue alone, and double it. So why it reflects differently in the September stats, I have to go back and look at that.
Yeah, according to the
I
report
have the
that,
bill in front of me here.
yeah, according to the report that you provided, which was dated October 20th, which was part of your staff report, it listed a total of 8 animals transported in September. I looked back to the previous report and there were 5 in August. So even if you combine those 2, it doesn't equal 26.
Yeah, I had to go back and look at the staff report, but according to the SPC bill I have in front of me, that's exactly what occurred.
Okay, is it possible to get the details as part of your report? I mean, obviously the numbers don't match. And that number, that $6,000 price tag kind of jumped off the page to me. I know that it costs a couple $100 per animal, but I was doing the math. It's like, okay, I don't know why it's so high, but thank you for the explanation.
Yes,
I do
245
appreciate it.
per animal.
Okay, I have that now. Thank you.
Now, the 12 cats that were, did we as a city take them or did the resident take it?
No, well, when we take them, it's considered field taking. So these are listed as shelter takings, meaning the public took them out there.
So that could be part of the difference in the number is
So I have to back and look at it.
what you transport and what residents or people in that. I think we've had this conversation before in that anybody can go to the SPCA and say, I live, or where are you from? They say Gonzales and their IDs are not checked.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this, like I said, this is 20 cats from September and only $6. So
But yeah, but that was by the invoice. It does not match what,
it's their shelter.
yeah,
Take them out.
okay.
Chief,
Thank
and
you.
I, excuse me, just to add, Chief, I believe that others that are animals out in the county are also added to Gonzales if they're within a certain vicinity. So they don't even have to come from town specifically, but if they're dropped off by a resident found somewhere outside in the county area near Gonzales, they still get on the Gonzales.
But we challenge those each and every time because that shouldn't be the case. Yeah,
Well-
so these all show my address where they're taken by or from. And for the month of September, we only took 3 animals, period, to the SPCA. It was 2 dogs and a puppy.
Yeah, and on your report, it said total of 8 transported to the SPCA, which was dated October 20th. I went back to last month's report.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
Okay, I mean, I get what you're saying, and it's too bad we can't go back to some of the people, if their address is listed, to try to recover something. I mean, we are starting to recover costs when we have first responder response, so this is kind of a similar thing.
Mhm. Well, unfortunately, the law does not allow for that.
I know.
The hate
Well-
law requires us to have animal services and.
Right.
Demand of the police department. And we're stuck with basically, the SBA charges $500 a month, we're stuck $500. Wow. The county's not, they're not to going price.
And I understand the food, I mean, the money that they collect per animal is probably to cover the cost to maintain that animal at the
That's what
SPCA.
they said.
I mean, I would guess that's what it's used for, I hope. Okay.
And just to add, there has been quite a discussion among the city managers groups and even the mayor's group to talk to the SPCA about the constant increases in cost. There's been talks with the county about them opening a shelter in South County because of one of the issues is the transportation. Some of our neighbor cities down south take some hours sometimes just to transport an animal. So that is all kind of being looked at, but cost is an issue, location is an issue. And so just want you to know that we are in the discussions about the price of drop off an animal and how it impacts our budgets. But
Okay. Thank you.
unfortunately, we're stuck at this point.
Okay. Thank you. I'll let Lorraine go with her number 6.
Okay, mine is also on page 14, it's also in the warrants. Mine is the Team CIVX, I know it's the parcel tax, $4,500. Do we have any updates on that, or are you going to be presenting us with any kind of update on that?
So the city is going to be doing a lot of education as to where our department stands. It is, you are correct, it is the parcels tax consultant conversation and research firm that's helping us. We will be bringing a potential to the council to see if it's something you guys want to consider early next year to see if it goes on the ballot or not. But in the meantime, we are doing education. Chief Musso is also talking to different groups in the community and letting them know what the situation is and assessing the pulse on the likelihood that they can support something like this. So more to come on that.
All right, thank you.
Okay,
So,
all right,
So now my number 12.
okay.
I have 3 parts on number 12. 2 of them are related to streets. Under streets, on page 30, item 12, number 3, TAMSI. The draft alternative was done about 6 months ago or in May. Can you give us the status on that? Because it just seems like it keeps getting away from us. And I don't want to lose traction.
Understood. I don't have an update beyond that. Yes, we received these 3 alternatives for improvements on Fifth Street from the west side of 101 through the Rincon intersection. So let me follow up on that, Councilmember Silva.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Part number 5, which is the 5th Street truck ban. The bid was approved a couple of months ago. And again, I'd like to know the status because I continue to see semis up and down 5th Street, mostly coming westbound during the day and a lot during the evening when I'm headed home from my mother's house. So again, that's another thing that I don't want it to get away from us.
Right.
Because I think we've discussed this quite a bit, that every time we've addressed this, the costs keep going up, right? To get those signs put up. So
Correct.
what's the estimated date to have those signs put up and
So-
start enforcing it?
So the contract was, well, we opened the bids and then fortunately TAMSI had some extra funding, and that was secured at the September TMC board meeting. Contract awarded in mid-September. We've executed the contract. What is it? I have my notes here. We obtained the Caltrans encroachment permit. We had to fill out the county permit that's now, because we're putting one sign on, what is it? Associated Lane. And so we filled out the county permit, gave that to the contractor to complete. We've received in the last couple of weeks the contractor submittals for the various signs. I talked to the contractor a couple of weeks ago, and I owe them a response on their submittals. And at that point in time, they said that they could be installing these signs and posts in the first couple of weeks of December.
Okay, thank you. And is this your last council meeting or will you?
Yes, this is my last council meeting.
Okay, so give your reports to the city manager before you leave, okay?
Yes, we're meeting
I
tomorrow.
want to hear some positive things. The last item under item 12 is part number 2 under other. My question is, can GIS possibly assist us with mapping our aging sewer lines in town?
We do, that's our priority, as a matter of fact. So let's see, the focus, the primary, yes, has been mapping and also doing a bit of condition assessment of the sewer manholes. So that went into the contract that we have with Don Chapin to rehab the 2 manholes on 5th Street on each side of the American Legion.
Okay, and so when do you expect that to come to fruition?
That's a never-ending effort.
Okay.
So one of the good things or the great things that go into a GIS is the maintenance activities around this asset that's in there. And so that's why I'm mentioning that it's sort of never ending is when we exercise a water valve. And so we've provided iPads to 3 of the Public Works staff. So when they do a maintenance activity, can they put it into the GIS so that we have our maintenance records on that platform?
Okay. So we're getting up to the 21st century in Public Works.
Yes, we're.
All right, way to go, Gonzalez. We're on the cutting edge.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, so all your questions have been answered to your satisfaction?
Yes.
No,
Well, they've been
different.
answered, but
Not to your
whether to
satisfaction.
my satisfaction is
Not quite
is
that.
another part, right?
So, and
With all that,
with all that, do I have a motion?
yes, Mr. Mayor, with all that said, I move that we approve our consent agenda tonight as presented.
I have a second.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 17, and would you be so kind as to read that, Liz? It's a second
Okay, I
reading.
got it. Item number 17 on our regular agenda tonight. This is a public hearing to adopt, waive reading and read by title only ordinance number 2025-153, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Gonzales, updating chapter 10.16 sewer use of the Gonzales Municipal Code. Staff report.
Mayor Rios, council members. So this report is follow-up to the presentation at your last council meeting regarding a complete update to the sewer use chapter of the municipal code. And it's attached, which will replace that entire section. So as mentioned in the staff report, updated sewer ordinance will align the city requirements with current state regulations, comply with the latest regional board permit requirements, and formalize existing city processes such as inspections of the processing facilities. The updated sewer ordinance includes a source control program and establishment of a pretreatment permit program. So having this updated sewer ordinance in place will provide staff with the tools to enforce the sewer regulations. And I do want to mention this is the first and only time that I worked through updating an ordinance in the municipal code. This has actually been a pretty big lift over the last 3 years. It has been a long time in coming, but it's taken a lot of hands, and there's a lot of pre-work that happens as far as the local limits are concerned and understanding what's in the existing water that therefore we can't, goes into these processing facilities. So yes, at your November 3rd council meeting, council waived the reading, introduced, read by title only, the ordinance 2025-153 to amend this section of the Gonzales City Code to reflect the changes. And in conclusion, we recommend that the City Council conduct a public hearing to receive comments, waive reading, and adopt and read the ordinance 2025-153 by title this evening. That's my presentation.
Any questions of staff before I open it up?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think at our previous reading at last meeting, I asked if there was any possibility to get something to treat the water that was exiting the manufacturing facilities to reduce the chlorination that goes into the wastewater treatment plant. Have you been successful in getting that information to dechlorinate the water?
So that's in the pre-treatment program in this ordinance.
It is.
Yes.
Okay. So that means that there will be no issue with the water getting over there and being at the high level of chlorine that it currently
So
has?
we want the low level of chlorine.
Right.
And you know, what we basically have faced, and this kind of is a bit of a segue to the next item, this updating the sewer CIP, is that, for instance, the manpacking facility has the latest pre-treatment program, but it's the operators that and may not operate it like it's intended to operate. And what this ordinance is going to do is give us the teeth to basically enforce the requirements of the pre-treatment program. You know, yes, we are taking we go out to the 3 sampling stations every morning at 9:30, take the reading, and then also the chlorine residual. And so what the city will need to do moving forward is basically having the wherewithal to enforce these requirements that, yes, are much more stringent and thorough than what's on the books right now. So basically, I think Councilmember Silva, it's the need to manage the pre-treatment program by city staff.
Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. Are there any additional questions? If not, I'll go ahead and open this up for public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to comment on this item may do so at this time. Seeing really or hearing nobody rush the podium, then I'll go ahead and ask Marisol, do we have any comments via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Okay. Alejandrina, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
Okay. Back to council discussion. If there's no further discussion, then I'll entertain a form of a motion. So,
Okay, so this was a hearing. Do we open the hearing already, or is this?
yes, we already opened.
Taking comments.
We opened the hearing and no one's here to comment one way or the other. So I've closed that portion of it and it's back to council for discussion or action.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 2025-153 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Through the chair, just for the record, that motion also included just to read by title, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Correct, Michael. Thank you. And I'm glad you're here safe, but if I was you, I'd have turned around and gone home. Okay. It's a nasty night to be out there.
Yeah.
And Liz, the next one, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. Let's see. Well,
It's the wastewater treatment.
it's all,
It's all having to do with sewer.
well, there's nothing here.
Just an update.
No,
It's number 18. Our number 18 tonight is updated sewer capital improvement program staff report.
Thank you. Mayor Rios, council members. Yes, in front of you is an updated capital improvement program, really focused around the sewer treatment plant to fund several projects that are needed to improve basically the operation and processes at the treatment plant. So as mentioned in the staff report, a CIP was prepared for the sewer system in preparation for the sewer rate study in August of 2023. And then the CIP was updated at the beginning of this year to account for the disposal basin that was constructed on the site, phase 2 of the industrial wastewater treatment plant. I'm joined by Megan Panofsky, our construction manager from M&S Engineers. She's going to step through the next the brief slide deck that we have, and so state that we continue to struggle with the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah. Thank you, Patrick. Again, Megan Panofsky, I'm with M&S Engineers. And as Patrick mentioned, I'm here to walk you through the updated capital improvement program budget that we've put together for you guys. So this is the table. This table is based off of the January update that we provided you. So this per fiscal year was taken directly from your 2023 rate study and then updated in January, and we've since updated it again. One thing, we did add the 3 critical wastewater projects that I'll go through here in a minute. But one thing that I'll note is that there is a line item for the CIP totals from the 2023 rate study per fiscal year, and then the CIP totals that we're proposing. And so that is balanced based on the numbers from all of the fiscal years together. However, it does involve delaying several projects, which are shown on the slide here, and bringing some of those funds up to the 25-26 fiscal year, which I'll get into in my presentation on how we intend to deal with that. So the 3 critical wastewater projects that we've identified are shown on this slide. On the following slides, I'll walk you through each one. We have the 21-inch trunk main rehabilitation project. So this was a project that was actually identified in May of 2016. You guys did a clean out of that pipeline and actually did some CCTV and inspection and assessment of your existing pipeline and the manholes there. They were found in 2016 to be very deteriorated and in need of rehabilitation. And so now we're going in and we're going to address that. That project is currently in design. And we do have a budget set aside of $750,000 for that effort. And the completion does need to occur prior to completion of the industrial wastewater treatment facility. That being because we intend to use the newly installed pipeline that's parallel to this trunk line as a bypass. So we're really going to take advantage of the fact that we have that empty pipeline right now before we need to put it into service. Next up, the 5th Street manhole rehabilitation project. So earlier this year, 2 manholes on 5th Street were identified as deteriorated and in need of repair. So we went ahead and, as you guys approved in your last city council meeting, the contract for that project, it was awarded for $125,000 to Don Chapin. We held the pre-construction meeting. We're moving forward on that project. The construction is going to occur during the winter break for the schools so that we can decrease the impact to the traffic there. I'm a mom that does pick up and drop off, so I understand. And lastly, the wastewater treatment plant rehabilitation. So we've budgeted $1.1 million in rehabilitation efforts needed at the municipal wastewater treatment plant. This is going to include effluent management, including trucking and levee enforcement, treatment improvements, including a dechlorination system, as well as bioaugmentation. Infiltration improvements. Right now we're soliciting quotes for removing the fines from basins A and C to try and recuperate that percolation rate in those basins and improve the effluent that we're able to get rid of. And I will say, Patrick prefaced this, that we are still struggling. As of last week, we were doing great. Moving ahead, we were draining Basin A, gearing up to be able to do work in there. And the rains came and the increased production, like gearing up for the holidays, came from the processing facilities. And unfortunately, as of today, we've had to start trucking. So we are still struggling at the plant and need to take action. So I did mention that. So on the slide, as we have mentioned, dechlorination and bioaugmentation. Bioaugmentation is going to help the treatment process and improve the water quality that's coming out of the plant. This is absolutely critical because the quality of water that's coming out of the plant is actually clogging up the basins. So we need to be doing that. We're actually expecting some bioaugmentation at the end of the week so that we can start treating some of the basins with it. And so that is action that we are taking now and is in progress. And as I mentioned, the solicitation of the fines removal. So how are we going to do this? I mentioned that this involves bringing 26-27 funds up to 25-26. So we took a look at the cash flow projections on the sewer enterprise fund and looked at all of this monies that we expect to be spending over the next 2 years. And the current funds available, your expected revenue coming in from your sewer rates, and developed this model for you. So in order to do this, we do drop down to a minimum of $300,000 in the sewer enterprise fund, which is below the sewer enterprise fund reserve of $750,000. It will then recoup with your revenue coming in by the end of 2026. So that is my presentation. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Can I add a little bit
Yeah.
to Councilmember Worthy question of what does that mean? As Megan mentioned, this is an changing day by day. So Friday, things were going good. We were draining Pond A, things were doing what it needs to do, and then storm. And then again, as Megan mentioned, facilities ramping up their use, just overflow us because, and you guys know the percolation issues, the water just not go fast enough for us to take the constant flow coming in. So what does that mean? Public Works staff is constantly working on levee issues. So over the weekend with the rains and the saturation of the soil, we've had a few levee breaches that they're constantly having to fix to prevent further leakage. So that's kind of ongoing. You know, they'll get it under control one day and then it's good for a few days. And then the next thing happens 3 days later, 4 days later, and then they're out there again. So they worked all through the weekend, repairing levees, constantly having to figure out how to maintain the water where it needs to stay. So in terms of, you know, what actions are we taking? It's really that is monitoring. They're monitoring constantly, making sure that any levee issues, any squirrel hole issues are being addressed immediately. Dealing with what do we do with the water? I mean, unfortunately, as Megan mentioned, we are completely full again this week. Not this week, this over the weekend.
And this includes the new pond that we created?
It includes the brand new pond as well. Everything is completely full.
Which we talked about at the last,
Yeah.
that we just found that out.
Well, and that's the challenge for staff too, is that things change on a daily basis. As mentioned, Pond A was draining. The plan with that was to drain it completely,
Right. So we're working to drain Basin A so that we could go in and do some borings and percolation testing, and then go in and remove fines from the bottom of that. Because what's occurring is the water quality that's coming out of the plant is basically it has suspended solids in it that are caking and preventing percolation in the basins. So we're working to stop that by improving the process at the head of the plant, but we still do need to address the infiltration in the basins as well. Because as Carmen mentioned, we're full.
But it is, I do want to reiterate that it's a day by day issue. So Friday, things were good. And over the weekend, you know, staff is out there dealing with breaches and a full treatment plant again. And so we've got rain today expected. I think it's supposed to clear up next week.
Till
We don't.
Thursday. No, that hurts. Thursday is what I saw.
So, you know, we're watching it constantly, and then we've got some sun next week. So, I mean, that's really the challenge for staff is that it's up and down and the stressor that it's not an easy solution because we don't have anywhere else to put the water. That's the biggest problem.
When I know that I'm waking up in the middle of the night when I hear a leak, I know it's affecting me, that I'm concerned about this, knowing it's onto a flow.
Yes.
You know, and then I need you to explain, because I,
Turn your microphone.
with my pea brain here. When you talked about taking the 26, 27 funds and moving them to the 25, 26 funds, could you please explain that to me? Because I'm not understanding. I mean, you're basically stealing from Peter to pay Paul. Is that what I'm getting?
So if you go to that table, there's projects that we've had to, we would have to delay. And so those would need to then go into a future rate study and rate case.
I mean, we're not guaranteed. I guess that's I'm just want to understand, you know, we're just hoping that we're going to have those funds. You know what I mean?
So Mike Howard can add a little bit
Good.
more, but it's rate money that is guaranteed.
Mhm.
So it's using that money now versus when it comes in later. So Mike, if you want to add a little bit more, but it is specific to the rate funds that come in that are, very basically guaranteed for the most part money that we're expected to come in based on just user rates.
Well, I'll let Megan address that. I'll address the finance part. So as far as moving the funds forward, it's not really robbing Peter to pay Paul, because per the rate study, we have kind of a level amount of capital that we were going to spend each year. So in 26, 27, we had an allotment of money that we were going to spend on capital. We're now not going to spend all of that money. Some of those projects are going to be eliminated. One of them is I think it's a master plan for 150,000 or something to that nature. We're not going to do those projects, but the money that we would have spent on those projects, we're going to bring it forward and spend it in this fiscal year to do that. Now, when those projects come forward, they will require a budget amendment because we have not appropriated all of those funds in the current fiscal year. So since we're going to be using funds from a future fiscal year, bringing them forward, we will have to do a budget amendment so that council will have to appropriate more money in this current fiscal year in order to do the projects that we're talking about. But what we'll see is when we get to 26, 27, a significant decrease in capital projects, and that will allow the fund balance to come back up because we'll reduce our spending in 26, 27.
Any other questions from council?
I did.
Okay.
That's a lot of stuff. It's almost like, you know, borrowing from Peter to help Paul. It's okay. My concern is what kind of anticipated impact could this have on the ratepayers?
At this point, it shouldn't have any impact because the rate study is already complete. And so we're staying within the parameters of the amount of capital that we said we were going to spend. We're just not spending it in the years that we allocated. We're moving it around, but we're not spending more than what we allocated.
But if I can add, it does mean replacing some of the projects. So that's really what we're doing is replacing some of the projects that were outlined to do the projects that need to be done now or sooner rather than later. If we wanted to do some of those projects in the future, then that's potentially when we would have to go back out. But in the meantime, nothing changes to the ratepayer.
Okay, so if we do this borrowing thing, we don't have to adjust our budget then because it all comes out of the enterprise fund, is that?
Well, we have to, yes, we have to still do a budget amendment for the current fiscal year because we adopt a budget on an annual basis.
All right.
So, you know, this fiscal year, let's just say we were going to spend $3 million and I'm just making that number up. and that you've approved the $3 million. Well, if we're pulling $1 million out of 26, 27, we need an appropriation to go to 4.
Got it.
But next year, what we need to do is make sure if we were planning to spend 3 million, we're only going to spend 2 million.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate it. And I think my rain gauge said we got about 2¼ inches over the last 48 hours. So I don't think I've ever seen it rain that much in a short time.
Yeah, to add to Ms. Forthy's comment, I was woken up last night by what sounded like buckets hitting my window. And so the first thing I thought of was, oh my God, the plant. And knowing that the staff had already been out there all weekend trying to maintain the levees, you know, and again, it's a constantly changing situation. So I hope to be here next week or the next time we meet and say, oh my God, the sun shines up and it's actually been really great for the plants. So, but it's always changing. And I think that's really what you need to take away is that it's a constant battle to get in front of these issues.
Okay, and I have another question. Megan, you said we're trucking the water again?
Yes.
So we're trucking it down south
To
to
Soledad.
Soledad? Okay.
Yes,
And then that costs us every time we do that too.
that's correct. Yeah.
So this is a delicate question, so I'm going to ask it delicately. Since we will not have a public works director, will you guys be taking this on? Is that how it's going to work for a while? Or, I mean, this is I mean, it's a concern I'm sure we've all thought of.
So yes, M&S and Megan will continue to lead the work, project management, and construction management of the system, the wastewater system. We also have engaged a plant operator who is here 3 times a week as well, and overseeing, again, plant functions. And let me tell you, she is in awe of our situation too. She, you know, works on other plants and is basically like, oh my God, you got to do something. And we are also thinking about bringing in some intern support just to do some project management, kind of high level, maybe part-time, few hours while we find the right person to replace Mr. Jobbins, which we are all bitter about, I will say too publicly. Well, I will say, and you know, just my closing comments on Patrick's departure too. It's been a really great team effort, and I've had a pleasure working with Patrick. It's been a really great thought partner, and just demeanor has been great to work with, and so I really have appreciated that of him. So I'm really sad to see that, you know, one of my partners leave, but I do wish him well too, and I'm sure he will be here at our ribbon cutting for both of the projects. Thank you.
Of course.
I have a number of comments that I'd like to make, if it's okay with everyone. You know, with this whole thing of climate change, even though Mr. Trump says there's no climate change, I don't know. Hopefully sooner rather than later, you know, I'll be off of this world and I won't have to worry about such things. But honestly, I think as I've watched the progression of winter create more of a downpour than I have in my entire lifetime, I think we'd be foolish to think that we're not going to run into this problem in the near future. I think the percolation issues that we've had in the past, where it's gone from 10 feet to 5 feet, is going to be exacerbated by the continual rain. I'm praying not, at least not for this year, but I think if this city really wants to look forward and be proactive rather than reactive, I think we should be looking at some additional ponds. The adjacent farmer, who is Amaral Ranches, has indicated numerous times that they are open to selling additional property to accommodate future growth of the wastewater treatment plant. I wish if Angelo was here, we'd get it donated, trust me. That Angelo was their father. He was an extremely generous man. Unfortunately, the sons didn't pick up that characteristic. That being said, you know, I think we're foolish if as part of our long-term planning project, we're not looking at something like that. Because sooner rather than later, I think we're going to breach. And I'll tell you why. I have two neighbors that all work for Taylor Farms. They say starting this week, person that normally goes in at 6 a.m. has been going in at 4 a.m. Why? Because production is way up. Everybody is buying their veggie trays. And it hits the peak during November, December, all the holiday parties. So they are not going to slow down production. Quite the contrary, they're ramping up. I wish they were a better partner than that. I wish I could move some of that demand down to their Guadalupe plant, which works on a reverse osmosis system. And maybe at some point, maybe staff could have a discussion with them because I know they're doing it. I know that I believe Silva, the shed there, is also producing a lot of wastewater. And I heard 3 monitoring stations, so I'm assuming Braga, Mann, and Taylor, but I don't think that Silva's in that checkpoint, is it?
It's listed.
They're not. They're not in that list point. Maybe that's another facility we should monitor because, you know, I don't know what they're doing out there. And if we don't have the capacity, I mean, hey, let's get on it. Let's be proactive rather than reactive.
May I interject, Mayor Rios?
Yes.
And so in the sewer ordinance that you just approved and adopted, the phrase is any any facility that consumes more than 25,000 gallons of water a day will be considered a significant user. So prior versions of that had, I believe, on the order, I don't know if it was 30,000 or more, but it was sewer discharge. That's difficult to gauge, and we get in arguments with, oh, like the Braga on South Alta, oh, that all goes off as ice. And so now so I changed it because we know how much water we sell. And so it's now water consumed over 25,000 gallons a day. Boom, you're a significant user. We'll be able to go after the Silva Farms facility, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Okay, great.
They will be required to have a sampling station and be in the pre-treatment program.
Right. Okay. Again, my comments, take them for what they're worth, just a big mouth speaking up. But, you know, I think we're fooling ourselves if we think that this is, once we do all the percolations and we fix everything, that's going to hold us. I think long-term, no. I think we should be looking at additional space. It's better to have more than not enough. You know, that's the way I've always functioned. You know, if I need X amount of, even toilet paper, if it's on sale, heck, I have a place to store it. I'll store it. It's not like we're going to stop doing what we need to do, right? So same thing with that's why I look at the wastewater treatment plant. Let's look at some really long-term solutions. I understand we're doing, you know, the what we need to do for the industrial plant, but we really should be looking down the road when 3,500 homes are in, when Puente del Monte decides to come in, when Mann Packing expands, when other stuff expands, we should be ready for them. And if we're not looking in the future, then we're doomed for failure. Failure to plan is planning to fail.
I was going to say, if I can add, you actually do have DUDEC that is preparing a municipal wastewater treatment plant preliminary design report looking forward into that future right now, grant funded. And so we're hoping to see that plan, that preliminary design report in spring of next year.
Great.
So yes,
Great.
we are absolutely forward looking as well.
Good.
Yeah,
Thank you, Megan.
of course.
All right, I'll go ahead and open this up to the public. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this matter may do so at this point. And again, hearing nobody rushing the podium, I'll ask Marisol, do we have anybody via Zoom?
No comments via Zoom.
Alejandrina, do we have any comments via email?
No comments via email.
I really thought somebody out there would be, anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. I'll bring it back. I'll close that public meeting and bring it back for council discussion. Any further discussion on the matter? And if not, I'll entertain a motion. Do we need a motion? It's just a report.
It's
right?
just a report. I do just want to state though that we will, in the near future, be coming back with some of these urgent projects that we want to get done. Yeah, to approve the actual contracts to move forward with the work. Then
For clarification, it does say action approved.
The agenda does say approve the updated sewer capital improvement program, so.
So I do need a motion.
You need a motion.
So move.
And second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. GYC.
Yeah, so I'll be taking over the first part. It's divided into 3 sections. I'll be taking over. Shelby will taking the second and third. So the first part is just mainly Gonzales Youth Council updates and the oral communications part. So the Gonzales Youth Council had a quick, brief meeting on Saturday, November 8th, to further discuss the community project that we've been focusing on and a layout of what exactly we wanted. During the duration of this meeting, the commissioners and members present landed on doing a community event focusing on the opening of potentially new food pantry, along with having an orchestrated layout of how the event will look, what will this community event consist of, and the necessary steps and connections to accomplish this goal. Next, the Gonzales Youth Council additionally had their youth council meeting on November 13th. In this meeting, all members present were able to receive additional updates and announcements in regards to our primary community project. Our youth council also got into groups depending on the aspect they had wanted to focus on, which consisted of 3. The first one was just an event outline and collaborators, followed by our visual art contact, and finally the social media outreach and informing the public. So the Gonzales Youth Council's members present were able to sufficiently communicate and utilize teamwork to create an outline and are now beginning the process planning and networking. And then as we continue to outline, plan, and execute this community project, we are confident in making this project work and improve our pride and engagement, along with further enhancing our skills in teamwork, socialization, and communication. Thank you. I'll be passing this on to Shelby.
So we have one main future GYC related date, which is November 21st from 4 to 5:30 p.m. The Gonzales Youth Council will be having a meeting to discuss further the community project updates and continue outreach and outline process for those projects as well. Next, we have our Gonzales High School related updates. On November 7th, the Gonzales High School football team had their final football game, home game, to celebrate the finale of their season. Varsity did win, and the varsity had a very close game, but unfortunately we did lose that game. But we had a great season overall, and well, JV had a little better season than varsity, but they did have a good season full of some fun memories as well. From November 10th to the 21st, the Associated Student Body Council and Leadership class is hosting a food drive for the Gonzales High School to support families. And for this, we mostly donate the food to the food bank, and then we have annually we have 2 families that we choose to help out. And they could be, I'm not entirely sure how they're chosen, but I think it's through the office. I'm not sure. But we do choose 2 families to support during the holiday season. And then on November 19th, the Gonzales FFA program will be hosting their fall banquet, awarding students with their Green Hand and chapter degrees, which are given based on how many years they've been involved with FFA. And to also highlight accomplishments made by students in the first semester of the school year. On November 20th, the Early Academic Outreach Program, otherwise known as EAOP, will be hosting a Friendsgiving event where students can come together and share space and just have a good time. I think that'll be during lunch, right? Or after school? After school. Okay. Oh yeah, and that's on a minimum day, so we're after school that day. And then from November 24th to 28th, the Gonzales High School will be on Thanksgiving break, and I think that's throughout the district as well. For Thanksgiving break, just giving students and staff a nice break to be with family and friends. And this is all to report for the Gonzales Youth Council and Gonzales High School with current events and action dates in progress.
Good job. Thank you. Any questions for council? Okay. Then I'll go ahead and move on.
Quick question, Shelby. You mentioned a food drive. Where can people take food?
This will be mostly within the school itself.
Oh.
So students are encouraged to take canned food to their fourth period classes. And we have kind of a competition throughout the classes as well. Whichever class receives the most food will get a pizza party before the end of the end of break.
Very
Or
nice.
before we go on break.
Okay.
And we usually have a couple teachers that are kind of fighting to get the pizza party, so it's kind of fun to see.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. The committee reports, League of Cities, I have nothing to report. AMBAG.
Yeah, for AMBAG, my apologies, let me bring it back up. AMBAG, the primary, a couple things we talked about, but the primary thing is the 2050 Metropolitan Sustainability Plan. I'm sorry, is the draft MTP SCS and draft environmental impact report. It's officially out for public review, but it's every 4 years it's reviewed. I think we've talked about it a few times, but it's officially out and for public input, and then they'll be doing workshops in January and February throughout the region. So that's it.
That's it. Thank you, sir. MST.
Okay, I have handed out the highlights from our last meeting, but I did want to bring to everyone's attention. We had a discussion about transit first policy template. And this is to encourage all the cities to bring MST and transportation into their plans. So, for example, Vista Lucia, we've actually had that discussion, Patrick. I remember that we talked about transportation and where we would put our bus stops and that sort of thing. A lot of the cities didn't like the idea. I mean, I really can say that. They felt that it's not their place for transportation to come in and try to tell them how they need to incorporate their projects and everything. I actually think it is a good idea to at least allow each city to understand, especially down here because we use bus transportation so much. I think it's important to let, this MST know and TAMSI and these others, what kind of projects we have going. So because there was such a split in how this went, they decided that they're going to make presentations to all the cities and come in and tell them what they would like to see happen. And they're going to have that accomplished by June of 2026. So that way, all the cities will understand the importance of transportation. And especially since we really need that as we move forward, especially in South County, because so many people do use public transportation, it's important to, educate each city in what's going on. So that's the main thing that I wanted to share with all of you, because I do think it's a good idea. Our next meeting will be December the 8th, and that's all I have from MST.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oral communications, and Ms. Worthy, since your voice is nice and warm and ready to go.
Okay, one that I have is there will be a pantry on Friday from 8:30 to 10 at the community church across the street. There will only be one food pantry this month because of Thanksgiving. So we will only have one this week, and then in the month of December as well, we will only have one. So that's what I have. And please, everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and please be safe, especially with this weather that we have right now. Thank you.
Ms. Silva.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank the city for again having the Hometown Heroes event. I think it was very well received last year, and we added probably another dozen signs this year. And when that first storm hit about a week afterwards, I panicked, and I think I texted you in the middle of the night, like, take down the signs because they're going to blow away. And thank you, Jason, for the quick response, because I think some of them had taken themselves out of their frames and had
landed someplace else. So received a lot of compliments from those that attended. And also I have been receiving a lot of requests from residents and former residents who want to participate next year. So if possible, I'd like to try to get a form for next year already for 2026, so that I can start giving them out to these people, because I'm not going to remember a year from now. I probably won't remember tomorrow, but at least if I can have a form for them, I can hand it to them as they request it. I know Shelby mentioned a lot of great things that are happening at the high school. And there was the Gonzales High School cross country team did win their division championship for the PCAL Santa Lucia League, and an awesome job for them. So maybe they'll be coming forward to so we can present them a little certificate in the future. This Thursday, November 20th, is the monthly lunch done by the Adventure Seeking Seniors Group. It will be held at St. Theodore's Parish Hall at 11 a.m. this Thursday, and lunch will be a Thanksgiving feast. And I do believe we also get a box of veggies from the food bank. I continue to take photos of the progress of our community center. I've done this since the beginning. They've already put the wall where the actual name of the community center will be put. So I went and took some pictures the other day, and I met the new project manager. I can't remember, is it Sergio? Is that because the guy from Auto Construction's not there. He's moved on to another project. Is it Ron that used to be the project manager?
Ron is the project superintendent.
Superintendent?
He's remains in that role, but he's on the site part-time.
Okay, well, he wasn't there that day.
Right, and I know it's Josh and Maurizio have stepped in over the last several months.
Okay, there was a couple of guys in there and they kind of looked at me like, who are you? I introduced myself. I said, don't worry about me, and I told them who I was. I took some pictures of the inner court. I'm getting real excited as I've told you over many months that we've been waiting for this. And I believe I will be going with Janice and the city manager on Wednesday afternoon to do an actual official walkthrough. So I'm excited about that. It's beautiful, y'all. And I went into the library portion is all I went into. And I think everybody's going to be very pleasantly surprised. And I'm guessing that the library will start moving stuff in as soon as we get the final check off.
Now that you've approved the lease.
Okay, good enough. So, and again, I continue to be in awe of what's coming into our city. And last but not least, I also want to wish everybody a happy and safe Thanksgiving. And as a reminder, I think our youth council mentioned it, that it will be school breaks. So just be aware of all the extra persons walking, riding scooters, bicycles, etc. Thank you. Remember to wear your helmet, everybody.
Mr. Funk.
I just wanted to, once again, Patrick, thank you very much for your years of dedication to the city. It's a lot of great projects you've assisted us through as an engineer, then obviously as a director and so forth. So much appreciated, and I'm sure you'll be around for questions and whatnot and for direction. So I know Carmen has your number, so we got plenty going on. So thank you again. Appreciate it.
Ms. Orozco.
Yes, thank you. I also would like to thank Patrick for your many years of service to our city. Certainly are going to miss you in our chats. Wish you the very best as you move on to many fun vacations and many taking children here and there duties. So again, wishing you the very best. And I also wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving this year. Thank you. That's all I have.
I had a couple quick things. As the community center is starting to get clearer and clearer as the finishing, one of the concerns that I have, and maybe none of you do, but I do, is that that parking lot, I hope and I pray that it doesn't become excess parking for the apartments which are on Fifth Street there. You already have cars coming down Rincon, you have cars coming down Fifth Street, and I'm concerned that they'll start parking back there overnight. And as I've seen over across the street from the Alta Street Apartments, guys get home, and for whatever reason, they can't seem to pick up their trash and take it across and put it in the dumpster. They seem to leave it right there because I see when a lot of the vehicles have left, there's trash all over the place. Who's picking it up? I don't know if it's Public Works or it just blows down the road. But I am concerned that when we open up that additional parking, that just does not become, and maybe that's something we could look at is basically no parking overnight. And then the people that are found there get cited. A couple of times that that's done, that should be enough to warn the rest of the folks. You know, and again, I look at it as keeping it well. And you know, if the apartments have a parking issue, they should figure it out. It shouldn't be the city that's figuring it out. That being said, I want to thank staff also for the Veterans Day event. I think it's very well done. I appreciate all the effort, and I believe Jessica had to literally book it down to City Hall for a new microphone. Thank you, Jessica, for doing that. In the future, maybe we should take both microphones, just a safe bet. Well, and again, Patrick, it's been a pleasure working with you. I hope we haven't been too challenging for you. But, you know, again, any comments that are made from the diocese here, as you can imagine, is really from the heart for our community. It's if we've challenged you, well, maybe that's a good thing, but by the same token, you've met those challenges. And if I was you, I'd change my phone number because that's what I did. I retired. It's funny. Matter of fact, the people that bought the Man Packing, they called City Hall and finally got a hold of me, and they're like, "Why'd you change your number?" I said, "For the same reason you're calling me now." Yeah, Dennis did that to me too. Like, "You jackass, what'd you change the number for?" Dennis, I retired. That was a PG number. I don't want it. Anyway, I wouldn't blame you if you did. But again, thank you for your many years of service and dedication to our community. Much appreciated. Enjoy your retirement. I can honestly tell you that I think I'd be probably with more sight had I kept working, but I might have been on the bad end of the diabetes spectrum. So one way I lost sight, but I'm actually more healthier with the exception of the eyesight. So enjoy your retirement. I took up hiking and that's where I lost this sight. Then I took up watching grandkids and I lost this sight, but it's all good. It's all good. I can honestly look you in one eye and tell you that I've never missed a day of work. I don't even go by the PG&E office. It's see ya. It was fun. I enjoyed it. And once I retired, I enjoyed my retirement life. I made it my days. If I'm busy, it's because I want to be busy. And that's the big difference. Because right now, most of the time, you don't have a choice. Patrick, what about this? Patrick, what about that? So no more of that. Unless, I got to tell you though, the honey-do list begins to grow. So I don't know how your wife is, but mine seemed like all of a sudden she'd say all these projects now that I'm retired. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you? Maybe I'll go back and work. All right. City manager report.
I only have a few, actually 2 items, and then I'm going to pass it on to Chief Weiss. I think we've got some exciting things to share, but just mark your calendars for holiday lights, December 6th at 4:30. And as Council Member Silva mentioned, we are doing some tours of the community center now that it's almost done. Supervisor Lopez was there with the staff a week and a half ago, and was very amazed about just the progress and is very excited. So if any of you want to join us on the 19th, we're doing a tour, but if you've got your own schedule and want to drop in, let me know what day works for you. And I do feel like I'm constantly bugging Luis for tours, but now's the time because it's going to be done any day now. So if you want to see kind of before we are completely finished, let me know what works with your calendar and we'll make it happen. And then just note that the community action grants application are open. So we are starting to receive them, but let anybody know who is interested to please get them into us. I think the deadline is the 21st. if they have an issue with the application or the deadline, they can contact me and we'll figure something out, but need to get them to me as soon as possible. Chief, you have a few things to share?
I'm assuming you want me to talk about the basketball tournament? That's what I thought. So, the boys and girls basketball teams at Fairview School are in need of uniforms because of lack of funding. So Officer Perez took it on himself, met with me. I was open to it. In collaboration with the school staff, some alumni, students of Fairview School, and some of our police officers. I even think a couple of the fire members are going to actually play in a tournament tomorrow at the Fairview Gym. Starts at 5:30 to about 8 o'clock. The charge to get in is like $5, and then any donations people want to donate to the cause, they'll be more than happy to accept it there. But yeah, it's gonna be a basketball tournament. I think there's like 8 teams gonna be in the tournament. And whoever wins moves on, whoever loses, they're out. It's for a good cause, so I encourage everyone to show up 5:30 to 8 o'clock tomorrow at the Fairview Gym. Outside of that, we're having coffee with the cop coming up. I didn't bring the flyer. I meant to, but it's on my desk. And I think it is going to be Monday, the 24th at 8 o'clock at Cafe Amore. Yeah.
That's rain or shine?
Rain or shine, bring your
Okay.
umbrellas if it's raining.
That's coffee with the coffee with a pop.
That's all I have. Yep.
Anything else? No? Okay.
And next week, they are gonna sign for Anytime Fitness to move into the vacated library spot. So we're gonna get a gym. Yeah, so they'll probably just submit a TI for the internal changes, but they've got it down with all the shopping centers and the places that they go.
It's gonna be a gym? Is that what you said?
Anytime Fitness, yeah.
Anytime? That's great.
So thank you.
Well, why you're in the motion, San Lucia, we're still on for February, March with LAFCO?
See why not?
Okay, all right.
Through the mayor, one more thing. I just remembered it was on my list. I missed it. I did want to just share with the council that I received a phone call on Friday thanking our fire department for their their quick action and going above and beyond is what I heard for a fire that they responded to Thursday night, I believe it was. So the gentleman was very thankful and happy with the services that our fire department provided. So I just want to get that to you. He thought it was important to give me a call and let me know how above and beyond they went to support them during that time. And so just want to let you know that our fire department is doing an excellent job.
Great, no surprise. Yes.
For those of you that knew her, some of you had her as a teacher. Jessica Clary has passed away a couple of weeks ago. And I was hoping that maybe she used to be a kindergarten teacher at La Gloria School. And she lost her fight with breast cancer. So I just wondered if we could do a moment of silence for her.
Absolutely, is that your request? We'll moment of silence for Ms. Clary. Thank you. Sorry, and I know her services are Wednesday, I believe. Huh, my wife's got it on her calendar for Wednesday. Oops. It was the 19th is what she has it for, so. Okay. If it is the 21st, could you text Eva and let her know? She's like, I'm leaving you dinner and I'm like, okay, no, fine. All right. Do I have a motion for adjournment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned.
You know,